I have experienced and grown so much as a person these past 4 years. I have evolved and am evolving in so many different ways. My name is Valeria Salgado. I am 17 years old, a senior at John W. North. My largest adult influence is my aunt. She has always been someone I can be open with and not feel like I'm being judged by. She is very open minded and very understanding with me. Here are my largest peer influencers. This is Avneet. She has always been a guidance in my life, and I'm always learning from her friendship. She's a whole goat. This is Jo. She has always been someone that I can gain wisdom from every day, and I'm so proud of the woman that she's growing into. And here's Julian. He has grown into one of my biggest support systems. He believes in everything I do and what I'm accomplishing. It's so dope that I get to experience a person like him. This is my mom. She's the tightest and strongest person I know. We had a really rough relationship throughout her divorce. It was really toxic. I had began to feel that my own mother was becoming my enemy, and for a while, it felt like she was putting her life at risk for this pregnancy, and I'd forgotten about how we would feel about it. I felt that I was being put aside in this relationship she was in, and that I had lost her as a friend. I had begun to feel like my own home lost its value when her husband came in. I was so mad that she disturbed my peace at home with something new and uncomfortable for me, but I had to accept it. This was a new chapter in my life, and I had to accept it. With time, we were both able to find common ground, and I have learned that she will never put me or my brother aside for anything. And finally, this is my dad. He's a whole G. I'm so happy that I finally get to see him healthy after his battle against diabetes. He has diabetes type 2. After 2 years of very strict diet, injecting insulin all the time, and so many medications, his doctor finally diagnosed him as pre-diabetic, so I'm really proud of his accomplishment. I'm not only proud of his physical health, but also his mental health. After seeing him have an emotional burden for the past few months, I am proud of him for slowly overcoming it. Having my dad move out of the house was really difficult for me to cope with. It was so hard not being able to see my dad whenever I wanted to, or have him make me breakfast in the morning, or just wake up with him in the same house as me. It was really hard for me to get used to that, and it still is because I still feel like I have a limited time with him, and that really sucks. But I am thankful because I know a lot of people don't have the advantage of that, so I really want to cherish and value the time that I do get to spend with him. My parents met in Mexico, Baja California. I was born here in the US, but I moved back when I was a baby, and then I came back to the US when I was 6 years old. I grew up with ADHD. ADHD is a weakness in the brain's ability to focus on important sensory information. In school, ADHD triggers memory problems and inability to stay focused. ADHD can create a sensory dysfunction. This means that I can be hypersensitive and aware of light, sound, or physical sensations. All of these create major distractions and it makes it harder to do daily tasks, whether that be in my work or personal environment. It also affects the way that I learn since I am in a work environment at school. Around this time period, my mom got into a new relationship, got remarried, and got pregnant within a short amount of time, and it was too much for me to process. I began to not do as well as I was in school. My own home felt really toxic, and it honestly was a huge distraction for me. I began to feel really different, and I wasn't doing as well as I was. I began to lose interest in a lot of things that I was doing, like painting, track, soccer, and ballet folklorico. I began to not only have depressive thoughts, but it also affected my physical motivation. I began to have a hard time having sleeping and eating schedule. It started to get really hard for me to come to school. I also wasn't doing my best academically. My doctor then told me that I had developed clinical depression. This triggered my ADHD symptoms, which made my depression worse. When I saw how this was affecting me in school, I began to feel that I had failed my expectations. As a first generation student, I felt this huge responsibility, and when I didn't meet my own expectations the way I wanted to, I really took it to heart. Feeling both opposite ends of mental health was really difficult for me. However, it's allowed me to understand myself and has taught me so much about the way I am. I got accepted into San Francisco State, Grand Canyon University, and Cal San Bernardino. However, I will be attending RCC because I genuinely feel like that's the right fit for me right now. I am in the Promise program and I will transfer after 2 years. Originally, I applied to colleges as a psychology major. My career goal was to become a CSI or an abnormal psychologist. However, as I have become more in touch with myself, I know that I need to work and be familiar in the art industry since it is what became a passion for me and a motivation to push myself forward right now. Whether that be an architect or a film producer, I know that I need to be in touch with my creativity. My proudest success at North has been able to acknowledge that I'm not going to be perfect and that's okay. I don't need to be so demanding of myself to fit into a perfect mold when I don't even know what the mold looks like. I am learning that my feelings and thoughts should not be pushed away. I am human. I am allowed to feel and I'm allowed to experience failure. I am learning to be patient with myself. I am learning to be more true to myself, more raw and vulnerable at the right times. I am learning that it's okay to not be a strong figure every single time. I cannot let myself believe that sinking feels good. These flaws and blockades don't make up my being. Instead, they build context for the person I will become. These are all reminders that I'm human. It leaves no room for normalcy. I will remember that when circumstances feel out of reach and out of my control, I have the power over my perspectives. I will not attempt to live within the context of another man's reality. There will be days where my weight of my own soul may feel too heavy, but I must be able to walk with conviction. I must be able to embrace my own path. I am finding my peace and I will hold it hostage.
My bitch has in her way, but she doesn't need. I'm seeing attention anyways. Hey! Subscribe to her channel. Not really sure what it's called. It might be in my bio. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, it's been a great day.
My granny called, she said, Travis, you work too hard. I'm worried you forget about me. I'm falling in and out of cuss, don't worry, I'ma get it, granny. What happened now? My daddy asked me, mama called me up, that money coming, and she let me out and made it now. I done felt like me now. All them days are hard to break, her heart out of pieces. Walk around them bins, walk around them bins. Walk around them bins. Fucking money that we can't go. Getting on it that, then I know I do. Getting on this that, then I know I do.